everyone, my name is Amanda and welcome to my channel. The name of my channel is Craft by Tamandas, and on this channel I'll be teaching you how to make beautiful garments and sewing hacks. In this tutorial I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful skirt for a 4-year-old girl. So basically this skirt is just a simple skirt with elastic waistband and frills at the hem of the skirt. I used two different type of fabrics for this. I used an African print fabric, this beautiful orange and black African print fabric, and a plain cotton fabric for the frills at the edge of the skirt. For this skirt you would need two basic measurements. When you want to make this skirt, you will need your waist measurement and your length measurement. I'm going to show you how to take these two measurements just in case you don't know how to do it. I'm going to be using my mannequin. Okay, so your waist is just the smallest part here. Around it, your waist circumference is the smallest part of your waist. All around, you're going to take your tape measure like this and you're going to measure it all around. Whatever you have there is your waist measurement, and your length measurement, you measure it by placing your tape rule on your waist and measuring it all the way down to your desired length. For this tutorial you would need a fabric, another plain fabric for your ruffles, your elastic band, and a tape rule, scissors, and of course your sewing machine. So to start this tutorial you would have to have your waist measurement and your desired length measurement. For the person I'm sewing for, our waist measurement is 22 inches. So I multiply the 22 inches by 2, which gives me 44 inches. So the width of my fabric, the width of my fabric is 44 inches, and the skirt, my desired skirt length is 16 inches, but I've added 3 inches hem allowance for the hem and the waist of my fabric. So I'm going to be using half an inch to turn my fabric here, then the remaining 2.5 inches for the casing for the elastic band. The measurement for the ruffles depends on how full you want your ruffles. For me, I want my ruffles to be really full, so I have measured, I've measured like the width of my fabric, which is 44 inches, and I've multiplied it by 4. That gives me 166 inches. So I have a very long strip of fabric that I'm going to be using for my ruffles. Very long, sure it's more than 160, that I'll be using for my ruffles. So yeah, okay, so let's get started now. So the first thing we are going to do is to take our fabric to our overlocker and overlock the raw edges of our fabric. So I'm going to take my fabric and overlock this raw edge, and the same to the hem of my fabric. I'm going to do the same to this part of my fabric. I'm also going to do the same for my ruffle. So I'm going to, before I make the ruffles, I'm going to go ahead and overlock this. When I overlock and then turn it and give it a good press, and I'm going to show you what it looks like after I've done this. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like after I overlocked the edge of my fabric and also the strips for my ruffles. So let me state that I'm not going to be, initially I stated I was going to be turning this, but I'm not going to be turning it again because I think I'm going to like the effect of the overlocker is going to leave when I'm done like gathering it. So the only thing left for our ruffles, for this strip, to us to make our ruffles, is for us to gather it. Okay, so I want to be showing you how to make the casing for the elastic band. Okay, so like I said earlier, I left 3 inches for the sewing allowance, 2.5 inches for the casing for the elastic band, and half an inch for turning the fabric. So I've gone ahead to mark with my chalk. I don't know if you can see it, 2.5 inches, and I'm going to just take my pin, like turn it like this into half, and like so, starting from the edge, and turn it twice. I don't know if you can see that. So all I'm doing is just, so this is 2.5, so you just kind of fold it into half on the line and then turn it over once more, and you do that all the way around. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done pinning it. Okay, so this is what the band of my skirt looks like after I've given it a good press. But I want to have that when you want to determine the size of your elastic casing, you have to take into consideration the size of your elastic band, because you have to make sure that your elastic band fits into the elastic casing. So can you see? And it has to have enough space. So there's still, I don't know if you guys can see this. So this is it. This is the end here. So you have to make sure it fits in. You don't want to make an elastic a waist casing that is smaller than your elastic size. So I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and yeah, it's not so obvious. I don't know if you get, yeah, so this is the fold. So I'm going to stitch just here, and also I'm going to stitch the M allowance for my fabric, half an inch, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm done. So stay tuned. Okay, so guys, I want to show you what next to do. So I basically marked a line in the midpoint of this strip that I'm going to be using for my ruffle. So what you need to do is simple. All you have to do is just to take this to your machine and gather your fabric at this midpoint using your guideline. Just gather it, yeah, and it's going to look something like this. I don't know if you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and gather this fabric. I'm going to show you what it looks like now. So I'm going to go ahead and gather it at the midpoint. Don't forget, you have to gather this fabric at the midpoint of this fabric. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so I'm done turning the M of my fabric, and I'm done with the elastic casing, and I've also gone ahead to do the ruffles. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to attach the ruffles to the base of the M of the fabric. And I forgot to mention that when you want to ruffle your fabric, you have to start from about an inch. So don't start at the edge of the fabric, leave about an inch, 1 inch allowance, so you'll be able to use it to join your sides together. Yeah, so I'm just going ahead to attach this ruffle to the base of my fabric. I'm just going to pin it down and take it to my machine to sew when I'm done. So yeah, make sure when you're pinning it down that the edge of your fabric is covered. So you don't want to pin it and you have something like, well, except that's the style you want to make. You can try that, it can look good too. Yeah, so I'm just going to pin this up and make sure it looks good. And don't forget that when you're pinning it, determine the wrong or the right side of your fabric, and make sure you pin the right side of the ruffles will be up, the right side of the fabric would also be up. Okay guys, so I'm done pinning my fabric. So I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and sew a straight line on the same line I used in gathering the ruffles, and I'm going to show you what next to do after then. Okay, so I'm done securing my ruffles down with a straight stitch. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to put our elastic into our elastic casing, and I'm using 3/4 of an inch elastic. So to determine the width of the elastic you're going to be using, you are going to take the waist measurement of the person you are sewing for and reduce it by 2 inches, between 2 to 3 inches. Then you cut it out, and then I'll show you what next to do. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead to cut the elastic out. Let me put it on this. Okay, so the waist measurement of the girl I'm making this dress for is 22 inches. So I reduced it by 2 inches, and I cut out an elastic band of about 20 inches. I would like to add that you should also the size of the elastic you will cut out also depends on how elastic the elastic band is actually, because there are some elastic band that actually doesn't have so much stretch to it. So again, you have to consider all those factors. So you might have, if the elastic band is really stretchy, you might have to reduce the waist measurement even further. Okay, so I'm going to show you what next to do. Okay, so the next step is for you to get a safety pin and something like this, and you're going to attach it to the edge of the elastic, and you are going to use this to take your elastic band through your elastic casing. So practically what we are going to do is to get this elastic band into the other side of the casing. So we are going to start putting the elastic band from this edge, and we're going to make sure it comes out from the other edge of the elastic casing. And don't forget, when you are putting your elastic band in, you have to like kind of secure the other edge so it won't pull out. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So this is what I mean. I've put the elastic band. So when you want to put the elastic band in the O, make sure it's, I don't know if you can see this O here, it's all open down here. So I'm just pushing the pin and using the pin. Don't forget that when the elastic band is almost done, like it's almost through, like when you can't see it again, then you have to use a pin to secure it. If not, you would have your elastic band like all in. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm just pushing it through right here, and yeah, pushing it with a pin. Yeah. Okay, so I've pushed the elastic into the elastic casing, and I have just about this at the other side. So I'm just going to use pin to secure this elastic band so it won't come off while I'm trying to pull the other edge of the elastic out. So I've secured that in place with pin so it won't pull off. So I'll continue pulling my elastic band and make sure it ends up at the other side. Can you see we're already having our gathers? Okay, so I'm done pulling the elastic. So I've pulled the pin out from here. So I'm going to use my pin to hold it in place, just like this too. Be careful, if you're not careful enough, your elastic band is going to like go through to the other side. So I'm going to hold this in place just as I did to the other side, and I'm going to run a quick stitch over it, and I'll do the same for the other side too. Preferably you should use a zigzag stitch when elastic is involved, so it will give it so the zigzag stitch will hold it more in place. So yeah, so here stitch the elastic down, then here too you stick the elastic down, then I'll show you. So this is the final step, and so we are going to put your fabric right side up, and you're going to turn it over like this. You're going to like turn the two edges together, the two ends of the skirt together like this, and you're going to pin it down, and you're going to give it a straight stitch. Okay guys, this is what the skirt looks like. It came out really nice and super cute. Okay, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just put your question in the comment section. You guys should try this at home and let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and kindly subscribe to my channel. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. My name is Amanda, and you too can sew. Bye now.